I have my first American job, by the way. Ooh. I'm saying this because I work with a Boston Terrier called Chewbacca at Wonderwood, which is in St. John.
Okay.
Which is like a crazy like pop-up storybook interactive thing that my friend just asked me to do, and
that's pretty cool.
I am helping out with that.
Oh, that's so cool.
But it's great that I get to work with Chewbacca, which runs the shop, which is this little Boston Terrier. It just sits on a stool, and people lose their shit over this little Boston Terrier.
Of course. Their minds.
Yeah. It's the guy who did the street signs, like a sloth holding up a slow sign. Yeah, it's that guy. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really cool. And just now that I can officially work here, I can work here now.
Oh, okay.
I have my
How long have you been here?
A year.
Oh,
exactly, wow. Now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I can officially, I have a social security number.
Yeah.
No longer.
So you got the driver's license. We were talking about that the last time.
Got the driver's license.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thanks. I still haven't got that because I haven't gone into the DMV yet.
And gone through that whole process.
Yeah. And now I have my work permit.
Awesome.
Okay. So I'm allowed to. I'm not worried about ice being outside the door anymore.
Yeah.
Which used to be a real fear.
Every time somebody knocked on the door.
Yep. I'd hide and be like, no, I'm not. It's not me.
You put a lampshade over your head and
just stand in the corner.
John, your Uber's here.
Yeah. Every time. That's not even an exaggeration. I'd be like, maybe it's them. It could be them. They told me they might be out the door. But now I'm officially legally allowed to be here, which is good.
I love it.
Oops. Yeah.
Here you go. That one's for you.
Thank you.
You're going to do the cream.
I like it.
So is it good? I mean, I didn't, it's just poured, not anything too fancy.
Yeah. It tastes like an alcoholic beverage.
Do you want to hit the clicker?
Oh, yeah. Last thing. And then we can really get this thing.
So you film these and put them on YouTube and stuff as well? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That segues it perfect. Yeah, we put it on YouTube, TikTok. We actually have video on Spotify as well.
Amazon. You can catch Size 10 on every streaming service.
It's a good idea.
And now I don't have to plug that at the top like I usually do. So.
That's a great idea.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, hey, welcome to Size 10 Podcast. I'm Bjorn RG. You can follow me all platforms, Bjorn RG Comedy. And then we got my producer in the studio, Paul.
Producer Paul. Just follow Size 10. Don't worry about my social.
Yeah. And then we have a very special guest, very excited, hilarious comedian, storyteller, Jon Bennett.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Oh, wow. Nice, Paul.
We have sound drops and all of that.
I'm into this.
So we were kind of getting into it at the top. Where did you move here from again?
Well, I've been touring for the last
I forgot that makes me cough.
It's a bit strong.
It's very strong.
Yeah. I mean, I've been hiding mine, but yeah.
It's the ginger beer is the strong part.
Yep. I've been touring around I haven't had a home. Before pre-COVID, I didn't have a home for 10 years.
Wow.
So I just sort of floated around doing shows and performing, and I'd stay in places, or I'd get a good gig that would set me up for a little while, but then I've only lived in Australia for maybe 3 months of the year for the last 10 years.
Oh, wow.
So I just sort of floated around.
What was your favorite place that you lived?
I really, just because it's close to here, not because of that, but Victoria, Vancouver Island.
Yeah.
I love nature, so it's got all of the things that I love. Like
what flavor of nature do you like? What's your favorite?
Don't get me started. Whales. I
Whales?
love whales.
Oh, cool.
I dream of whales all the time.
Yeah.
I have
the animal, not the place. Right?
No, not the place.
Like
I mean,
Wales.
I've been to that Wales.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, you know what would make that place better? fucking actual whales.
Actual whales.
Chuck some real ones in. Fix it up. Whales.
I've always wondered why they call it that. Was it like a whale heavy zone?
We'll never know.
They whaled it away.
I mean, is it even on the coast? Yeah, it is. It's got a coast.
I've never been there.
Yeah. But off the coast here, Portland, and there's some. You can see orcas. You can see humpbacks. You can see fin whales, which is the second biggest whale in the world.
Fin whale?
A fin whale. Yep.
Okay.
And I have done that. I have been on those whale tours multiple times. And right before COVID, my plan was I was here. I was in Portland, and my plan was to kind of make Victoria my base, Victoria, Vancouver Island.
Okay.
My base. And I wanted to run comedy whale tours with the local company there. And that was my plan.
Like be the person, just be like, and if you look over to the right, you can see, and then like you just...
Well, no. Just
pop in a little story, a little bit of jokes.
No, because it's really boring on the way back. So you spend 45 minutes getting a boat all the way back.
Yeah.
And it's boring.
Yeah.
But I'm really like, it's the only thing that I'm proud of. And is that if there is a whale there, I will spot it.
Okay.
I'm really good at spotting whales because I've spent my entire childhood and everything imagining that whales are in water.
Okay.
So a swimming pool, I'll imagine a whale coming out. So if that is already your mindset in the back of your brain, if there is a whale there, I will see it.
Whether or not there's a whale there.
No. It'll be a real whale. I'll already be imagining it. Yeah. But I'm not even kidding. I was getting a ferry across, and I was talking to my friend about how good I was at this. And she was like, I don't know if that's true. Like, we're just on a ferry. It was not the right time of year. Yeah. And then I went, there's two. And we saw two whales come out of the water, and one of them breached, and no one else was there. It was just the two of us.
Just for you.
And yeah, it's an uncanny talent that I have.
That's awesome.
What a way to start this.
Oh, it's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm here for it, for sure.
I've seen, I think, I want to say 60% of the whale species in the world.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite?
I was just going to ask
blue whale.
Blue whale.
Never seen it.
The biggest one, right?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Because they're like dinosaurs under the water. Mm-hmm. It's like a whole another world under there. Yeah.
Oceans terrify me for that reason.
Yeah, right? So we're the opposite types. I mean, they're suitably terrifying. Like, it's like another planet down there.
It's bizarre. Like, if you... I don't know, get high and think about whales or any of those things. It's like, wow, like there's a whole another place. Yeah. And then, I mean, you could like, there's that one. And then there's also like, there's like the microscopic ones that we can't see.
Yep.
Where ants just give you like a little taste of that. You're like, wow, like I'm going to go so far away from where this ant would ever be, ever.
Yeah.
Just in one day, you know?
I feel like I'm the same. I feel like under the ground or under the ocean is like really fascinating for me. I find that really weird.
That's awesome. I didn't know that about you. Yeah.
Massive fish. Like, I can't walk over a body of water and not constantly look in the water. I just have to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I even went to the hatchery here, like about an hour out of town. Near the Multnomah Falls.
Yeah.
Yep.
We went to the hatchery to see the sturgeons.
Yeah.
Which are ginormous, which are like meters long.
Those are prehistoric looking too.
Right?
Yeah.
Massive.
Have you ever heard of this thing that they do down in the South called noodling?
No.
Do you know what that is?
No.
You don't know what that is?
I know what bubbling is.
Do you know what noodling is?
I do know what noodling is.
So what I had this fascination with it at one point. So noodling is where you go and you try to catch catfish, but the way that they do it is you put your hand in holes in the water. Like, so you just go around in the water and you find holes, because what the catfish do is they hide in there, and when something comes in, then they bite it.
Yeah.
And then you pull your arm out with the fish on it, and that's how you catch the catfish.
I mean, I'm not against it. but I don't want to do that.
But you like-
yeah. I like a distance between me and I don't want to ride a whale.
As long as there's a boat between you.
Well, no, I think I want to be in the water. Like, one of my best dreams that I had was I used to surf as a kid.
Okay.
And I had a dream that I was surfing, and then there were all this line of whales coming out into the ocean, and I caught this wave, and I did sort of a rail slide on the whale, on the back of the whale.
Okay.
And then I rode the wave into the ocean, and everyone ran up to me, and they were like, "Did you just rail slide on a whale?" and I was, in my dream, I was so nonchalant. I was just like, yeah.
Yeah,
I did.
Whatever.
I'm the whale whisperer.
Yeah. Do you not understand? It was a rail that I saw, and I rail slid on the humpback of a humpback whale.
It was a whale rail.
Yeah, a whale
it
rail.
was really good. I have a lot of those where you wake up and you're like, try and force yourself back to sleep.
Yeah, you're like, oh no, I want to go back.
Yeah.
I want to go back. It's so good.
Clench your eyes really tight and do the click your heels. Like,
get back into
Please
that.
go back. Please go back.
Let's go back to that. Yeah, where you have those dreams where like I still have dreams like that where I'll be like skiing or snowboarding. And I'm like able to do all these tricks that I used to be able to do, or where I'm just in the zone of like I can't miss. Where I can't miss. I can't get hurt. I can just do whatever I want to do. And then I wake up, I'm like, oh man, that was a dream. Oh, bummer.
I have a reoccurring dream of, I used to play, I was pretty good at basketball. Like, I played like sort of state Australian, whatever, basketball until I was like 19 years old. And I can dunk. Like, no, I can't dunk. In the dream, I can dunk.
Always. Yeah.
But I keep missing. I jump up and I'm high enough to dunk it. And I keep missing. And this is completely true. Because one of my hands is just jammed down the front of my pants. like
while you're dunking?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And they're like, why aren't you using both hands, John? And I'm like, I can't. Why can't I pull this out? It's just jammed on my dick. And I'm like, ah. And I've told partners about that. And they've been like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, can't get your hand off your dick to dunk. To be good at anything. To find
what's
success.
Keeping most people, holding most people back.
Right?
It's like, if you just let go of your dick, you could accomplish so much.
Isn't that such a symbolic dream? And I have had that many times as well. Like, I play Australian football. It's the same. It's like, I'm really good. I'm about to kick a goal. For some reason, I can't pull my hand out from the front of my pants. I just can't pull it out. And I'm constantly trying and being like, what's wrong with me? What is wrong with me that I can't do this?
It's like it's your hand cup. Like
they're very disappointing dreams.
But do you wake up with your hand around your dick at the same time?
I think
too?
I am.
Yeah.
I think that is the truth of the matter, is I'm sleeping on my stomach. Because I believe in the reality of things as well. And I think I've fallen asleep with my hand down my pants.
And then
that might be the reason. But also, if you want to metaphorically think of these things, then possibly, it's a metaphor for my entire life.
Well, because you have that show. I still haven't seen it yet. I just have all the promo of pretending things are a cock, which I love. I love that so much. I love all the pictures.
I love the one you put out with the cow just recently.
The most recent one.
I made a Halloween one. It keeps on going. Like,
you just can't.
I feel a service to people. If I stop, I feel like a lot of my friends and people who are fans of this might be like, the world is over. I don't know.
It's like you're get her done. Like, you're just stuck doing it forever.
Yeah. And it has been literally, I want to say 13 years.
Oh, wow.
Since I started it.
Has it gotten better though?
No. It has stayed the same.
The same.
Word
for word.
What it is I started a housemate of mine. Just like, we thought it would be really funny. It was like towards the start of Facebook, I guess.
Yeah.
And we were at home and we started taking like black and white artistic photos of me holding things at my groin.
Right.
Making things my cock. And then we would just call them like, blender cock or, Epson 2-in-1 printer cock, whatever there is. But we made them sort of shadowy and nice, so it was like an artistic thing. And that's how it started. And then I traveled around the world for like a year and a half. And this photographer friend of mine called Alexander Bradley wrote to me and was like, I would like to make this a thing. So he came and joined me overseas.
Yeah.
And just followed me everywhere, taking like proper photos of me.
Yeah.
Making, the Washington Monument. The Statue of Liberty, the Eiffel Tower, all of these things.
That are very phallic.
which would take, like, we would spend ages on these photo shoots.
Oh, really?
Well, he's a professional photographer. He's a really great photographer.
Wow. Okay.
So we would go to these places and he would be like, we got to do this right.
Yeah.
So then we would do proper photo shoots of me with making things my cock.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's. I mean, I'm not gonna tell you how to do comedy, but I feel like it usually requires like you need some element of seriousness to it.
Oh yeah.
If you go, I love I think it's like make the silly serious and the serious silly.
Yeah.
That's something that kicks around in my brain a lot.
The sheer commitment to doing this fucking stupid thing.
Right. Yeah.
So now there's over 400 cocks from around the world in over 56 countries.
Wow.
So we have done it all over so that's why I mean, like, I can't stop now, even though it's been like...
And now there's a calendar of it too.
Oh, there's a book.
Yeah.
There's a book.
In a book.
It started as a book. It started as an exhibition in an art gallery. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, this gallery was like, we would like to make this. Do you think you would like to do this? This is when I was traveling. Like, immediately, as soon as we posted like maybe 20, it got like 60,000 followers.
Oh, wow.
So I started awarding like, and people started sending me photos of them making things cocks and stuff. And I started awarding cock of the week, cock of the month, cock of the year.
That's awesome.
We had like massive like celebrations of the cock of the year, whatever. And it became this thing. It was pretty big for like, let's be honest, maybe 2 years.
Yeah. I actually feel like at some point I did come across it.
Yeah, it was pretty popular for a little while.
Because when I saw, and you look different now than you did then.
Of course.
And so I hadn't put it together, but I'm pretty sure I had actually come across it. And then like, yeah, I think when I just like added you on Facebook, we had quite a few mutual friends. So there was like,
yeah, it was a big thing for a little while.
Yeah.
And like the best thing is that the gallery was the green room for a comedy festival.
Oh, okay.
So the venue was this big venue where a lot of international comedians were performing. And then they would peruse the cock gallery, which was probably like 80 cocks.
Yeah.
And then they would go on and do their show. So I made a lot of like contacts through them.
Oh, that's
as well.
cool.
Yeah.
You just let your cockery do all the networking for you.
I mean, I didn't know what was going on. I was just like, I just say yes to a lot of things. And yeah, I don't know how to actually do the real thing.
the things. Like, well, you were saying like when you came here, like, wow, this is crazy. Like you wouldn't put a podcast studio like this together.
I wouldn't even know how to, I don't know how to do this stuff.
Honestly, neither did I 2 years ago.
But you're pretty good. You've made this really cool.
Thank you.
Like you've even got a brick wall, which is like, is that
fake.
wallpaper?
It's
That's
wallpaper.
amazing.
It's wallpaper because
Okay.
it's this gross like yellow paint. And so
Yeah.
I found this wallpaper on Amazon.
I mean, but you're good at these things as well. Like you said, you made the light, these light fixtures on the back of the bangers thing and all of that. Yeah.
It really, what it comes down to, it's this principle that I follow for any of my things is just 1% better.
Right.
So I just start, and like I could show you pictures of we literally started this podcast on Zoom. I would record a Zoom call between me and my friend talking about the last sneaker that we bought, basically.
That's cool. Yeah.
And then as it started to open up, we decided to kind of be in a bubble together, and then we started doing in person. It was me, Nick Scalzone, and then David Kildall was my roommate at the time, another local comedian. So he was our producer, and we, we got some good deals on some mics, and we just kind of, we would try something and it wouldn't work, and we'd have to buy new cables or new and it was just
right.
It was just a process of figuring it out.
I feel like we have similar mindsets of like, just do it. Just do the thing that you want to do and then see what happens afterwards.
Right.
But like, so I'm similar to you, but I have no preparation or anything like that. So I love this sort of stuff. I don't want to, I don't know where to begin.
You don't know. Well, you just start. That's all it is for me, is I just like, you just have to dive in. And I mean, like for a while when I was editing them even, it took me a while. I'd be like, oh, this isn't good. I was like, nope. And Nick was really good at just being like, Bjorn, who cares? Nobody's listening. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, right.
Just put it out. So I was like, the cool thing about starting from nothing is it doesn't matter. Like, no one's watching, you know?
Yeah.
So you can just really experiment and figure it out. And these aren't even the first mics that we used. Like, we started with some other mics and it didn't work and we had some problems. And so I was like, okay, let's try something else. And like, I mean, we're spending money
on the job type thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely know how that is. Like, I used to do a TV show many years ago.
Okay.
And it was like proper community TV.
All right.
We did live to air, like not even live to tape,
wow.
live to air. So if we fucked up on air, that's just
it
where
was
we're going
out?
now.
Oh,
and
I love it.
There was a popular podcast in Australia quite recently that mentioned it, and the guy was like, it was just ridiculous. Why would anyone do this to themselves? Like, it would really balance between, is this the shittest thing that I've ever seen?
Yeah.
Or is it so ambitious that it becomes good? And the thing is, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
It was never good. It was never good, but it was so ambitious that we decided to make a TV show.
Yeah.
Like an hour-long
wow.
That's awesome.
Saturday Night Live style TV show, live to air every single Saturday night.
Wow.
Yeah, it's nuts.
How long did you do that?
3 years.
Oh really?
Gosh. Yeah, we made 2 seasons of the live show. Then we made 1 season of a talk show where I just interview the same person every week, but he's playing different characters.
But different characters? Oh, I love that.
And then we made a sketch show, which was the easiest one because you could edit it and do all
you
that
could
sort
write.
of stuff.
Now, can our inquiring listeners, where can they find this?
What is it called?
This podcast was like, I can't find it anywhere for good reason. It's really, really, really bad. But it's called Barnaby Flowers Comeback Special. If you can find it, good on you. The second season was called Barnaby Flowers Bumper Bonanza. And then the talk show was called Barnaby Flowers A Time to Talk.
Okay.
And then the sketch show was called The Ugly Stick. But good luck. Good luck.
What year
You'll
was
find
this?
some sketches. Probably like 10 years ago, 11 years ago.
Okay.
So
like 2011?
Yeah. Probably even earlier.
Or
there you
2012?
go. This is it. Yeah. It's really bad. Don't do it. Don't.
Don't.
It's really, 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 really bad. But we were so ambitious. We were young and just, this is what I mean, just full of, we can do this.
Yeah, just going for it. I mean, that I sometimes wish I could. I'm about to turn 37, and I really sometimes wish I could tap back into that 20-year-old me that like when I was fresh out of college, because I went to a business school and then I did end up starting a business, but like I found old notebooks of like sales projections that I've never. I consider my business successful now, but I have not hit anywhere near what I thought I was going to in like the first 3 years of business.
Yeah, I
was like, yep, we're going to be doing $1 million in sales by year 3.
But that's what we're told as well. We're told that that's how to do it. So I guess that's right.
It's like, that was the shit I was bringing. I was going to banks. I was telling adults, like real adults, that I thought that I could be doing $1 million in sales in 3 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I have like employees and a whole thing. But I'm happy with like, we might do $500,000 in sales 10 years in, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I mean, we're all just trying. That's always my thing. Well, if this will make you feel better. I remember our producer coming in after we did Barnaby Flowers A Time to Talk, which is just a talk show. It was pre-recorded, so it was much easier. And he came in and he was like, we've got sponsorship. And we were like, wow, that's really great. And he's like, we got Brumbies. And Brumbies was a bakery, like a chain bakery.
Okay.
And we were like, wow, how much money they're going to give us? So we put their logo at the end, brought to you by Brumbies, all this sort of thing. And he was like, nah, they're just giving us old baked goods to give to the cast and crew at the end of the show. And that will be forever his thing with us. He's like, we got Brumbies. And we're like, oh, how much money are they giving us? No, just old stale bread at the end of the shows.
And they're going to write it off somehow, probably.
Well, they don't even have to. They'll just be throwing it out. He got no money. He got nothing. He got a bakery to give us old bread.
Oh, I love that.
Did he have to pick it up so he's spending gas to get
Probably,
the bread? Okay,
probably. Yeah. But you know what? We bloody ate that Brumbies.
Yeah.
And we enjoyed it. And it went to the cast and crew and everyone. We all got fed. Isn't that amazing? I just remember that then. Him just walking. We got Brumbies and being so proud.
I got him. We made it.
Right.
We made it, boys.
Quit your day jobs, everybody.
They're just going to give us stale bread at the end of their thing. And he would literally walk in with a garbage bag full of old bread. Like, that's what our shows were. I got Brumbies, everybody. Wow. Oh, no, it's just a garbage bag full of shit bread. That they couldn't sell that day.
They couldn't legally sell it anymore.
Yeah. So he basically dumpster dived for a sponsor.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think we still put at the end of the show.
At the end of the show.
Thanks to Brumbies. So stupid.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I mean, if you want to watch some problematic comedy from 10 years ago.
Look
that up.
It's wild how comedy has shifted. Because I started in 2011, and I think back and I'm like, oh my God, it's crazy how even just in the last decade, it's shifted in a good way, but it has shifted. Like there's like stuff that people aren't joking about anymore, which is cool. That it's actually really, really cool to see that.
Yeah, I mean, we can go into this. I have that same conversation all the time where I'm just like, anyone who's like, well, it's hard now. Anyone who's like, you can't say anything type person.
Right.
I'm just like, well, you can. Just take accountability for what you're saying.
Exactly.
And think about that before you say it, and then think,
yeah,
is this going to cause something?
Right.
So just don't do it if it's going to do.
I had an improv teacher who she was just like, we live in the best time for comedy because you actually have to think about what you're saying.
Yeah.
And you can't use the lowest, the low-hanging fruit. Like you have to actually think about the impact of what you say. And we are in a golden age almost and I love that perspective. And I was like, you know what? Regardless if I believe in that or not, I'm going to adopt that as the way that I think about it.
Yeah.
And just be better,
I think this too. Like, I mean, anyone who suffers from any kind of anxiety or depression is a bit like, I can't handle people not liking me or upsetting anyone or anything like that. So let's just think about what we're doing. And it's quite easy to not say things. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that is how I got into storytelling stuff. Is because I do storytelling shows. I also do stand-up, but I do storytelling shows. And the reason I got into that is because I thought if I can't be authentic and I can't be real, then what kind of a comedian am I? You know what I mean? And this all started because someone called me up for doing someone else's material.
Really?
Yeah. Like this would have been when I was 21 years old.
Okay.
I did... Yeah, it's still a pretty good joke. But I remember thinking of it in the middle of the night, writing it down, and then I did it. I did the joke. It's such a dumb joke now. But it's like I got in a fight with it. It's problematic now. You can cancel me now. I got in a fight with a blind person, This is the joke. Not actually. I got in a fight with a blind person, and instead of fighting them, I stood behind them at the traffic lights and made the which made them walk across the road. And I can't hit them. And that was the joke. And then after I did that joke, someone came up and was like, "That's this guy's joke."
Oh.
And I was like, "Ah, shit. Oh, okay." And that makes sense. Like, I really loved this comedian.
Right.
I didn't know that I must have, absorbed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then I was like, well, if I can't do anything original, I'll do storytelling about real things that happen in my life.
Yeah.
And then if someone has the similar thing, which has also happened, instead of being like, "Ah, shit, I'm sorry," it's like, "That's amazing. You fell into a dead cow as well? That's amazing. That's a great thing." Like, it's a really cool way to look at doing stand-up, I think.
And being original. When I first started, I did someone else's joke, but it's very similar. It was just like, I'm just trying to write funny things.
Our brains are bloody sponges.
And you don't I authentically did not do it. Like, I wasn't like, I'm going to do this guy's joke. It was, and then someone called me out on it, and I was like, oh, yeah, I had a very similar experience. It was something, I cut the joke immediately, but it was some other, what was the joke? It was like, I was having a lot of nightmares, so I put up a dream catcher. It wasn't really helping, so I needed something more powerful. So I needed like a dream killer, so I just put up a picture of my dad.
Nice.
And that joke is original, but the whole picture of his dad is not original. Someone else had that joke, and I had heard it at some point in my life, and I might be Nick Kroll, I think, is whose joke it is.
As if we're going to know this stuff.
Right? There's and then I tried to find it after and I could not find it, but I was like, you know what? I can write another joke.
Yeah, it's not hard to do that. That's why I find these people who are like, this is my hill to die on.
Yeah, you're going to die on this.
Doing any sort of something that's going to make people upset. Just don't do it.
Right.
It's so easy to not do something.
Absolutely.
Right? Well, I do that my whole life. I don't do anything. Just take the dog for a walk. Nah.
Nope.
Don't have to. Not going to. That's not true.
Sorry, my hand's down my pants. I can't do that right
now. Yeah, right? My hands are jammed down there.
I'm walking. You can walk your dog with your hand in your pants.
Yeah, that's gonna be bad for people around me. But yeah, like, it's not hard. It's not a hard thing to do, is to not do something.
Right. I mean, I had a comedian who was pretty new in the Portland scene, was really angry. Was like, "Oh, somebody stole my joke." And I was like, "Well, what's the joke?" And then they told me what it was. And I was like, "That's very gettable." Like, it's it was like a wordplay thing. I was like, I legitimately had thought of it at some point and then decided not to do it.
Yeah.
Because it was just a wordplay thing. And it's like, of course someone could get there. Anyone could get.
Yeah.
Because we only have so many things that we can, puns and wordplay. It's like, he's not stealing your joke, man.
Fuck the person who was like, "Oh, stealing jokes is the worst thing ever." If you deliberately steal a joke, yeah, sure, fine.
Yeah.
But we're all working on stream, we're all working in this same sort of balloon of ideas.
Yeah.
What is going to happen? Of course you're going to do that. I am willing to bet that that I came up with a joke before Louis C.K., R.I.P., and and Jerry Seinfeld,
Yeah.
These two people who are doing pretty well, one not so much, but the other one doing very well. I remember coming up with a joke where I call my kids mean names so I can tease them, which is just a stupid... that was one of my first ever jokes when I was 18 years old, and it was just, I'm going to call my son Enos and my girl, my girl daughter Magina.
Yeah.
And that was it. That was the joke.
Yeah.
And then Louis C.K., R.I.P., has this joke where he's like, if he calls his kid whatever, it's the same premise.
Yeah.
And that is it. Like, As if, of course, we're all going to come up with this stuff.
Yeah.
But people with the platform have the platform, so they can do it.
Yeah.
So you can't do that anymore.
It is an
weird
interesting
anomaly.
thing. I mean, I even have like my closer. I don't care. I'm going to use it right now. Like my dog, his name is Bucket, so that I can go out and yell "Come Bucket."
Yeah, which is a great joke.
Which is, I mean, I'm very worried that someone is going to do that someday or come up with that or whatever, but I haven't seen it. And,
I feel like
I've done it in a lot of cities and a lot of places.
I just feel like comedians are sensitive and no one really... I remember doing shows in Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
And there was a guy doing very well in Southeast Asia at the comedy clubs there. For those of you who don't know, you can do comedy any fucking where.
Yeah.
There's always...
In English, too?
Yeah, always. There's always a bunch of expats everywhere. And this guy basically ripped off this other very successful Australian comedian's act. No one cares.
Right.
No one was like, surely some people must have been like, that sounds very... we're talking like proper... successful on TV Australian comedian, and this guy just did his jokes verbatim,
like word for word, everything
in Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
I tell you something right now, no one cared.
Right.
No one was like, this is... I saw it and was like, oh my God, you're just going to do that?
Kind of like lip syncing, right?
Yeah.
Everybody loves lip sync. Yeah.
You can do covers of stuff.
You can. Mm-hmm. It is an interesting thing. I lived in Las Vegas for a little while, and there was at one point I had a friend who was I don't know. It's like a friend of a friend, a magician, like an up and coming magician. So I got a taste of like the world of magicians in Vegas.
Yeah.
And it was like a culture shock. I did go to some of their shows and did sets and crushed because I'm the only one doing original material.
Yeah.
None of them. I was like, a lot of the comedians were doing like Dimitri Martin jokes and Dave Attell jokes. And I was like, wait, you can. And my friend was like, no, it's fine. We just, like everybody, like all the magicians actually share tricks too. So they're doing the same tricks. It's like this weird, it's like, oh, so it's just the name. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's just the branding.
I mean, we don't want to shit on magicians, but we kind of do. Like, I have toured with a lot of magicians, and they're always interesting people. But like every other industry, it's fine to like do that sort of thing. I get it. Like I get why comedy is different. But I will tell you this, my favorite thing, I had a magician opening for me during a tour of New Zealand.
Okay.
And he's a lovely guy, such a sweet... I know a couple of really lovely magicians out of the hundreds that I know.
Yeah.
I know a couple. And he was one of the lovely ones. But we had a thing where I was like, can I come in at like, he would do 20 minutes before I would do my show. And I was like, can I come in at like 10 minutes in and just be like, is that magic? Really? That's magic. What you just did then, like you remembered someone's thing of a book that's magic. Like Merlin, that is magic. And it has been one of the favorite things I've ever done. And he would just go like, fuck off, John. And then he would be like, John will be on afterwards. The whole thing was just awesome. Like, I just love the idea of like, that's remembering magic. Someone's fucking card. That's magic. More than anything else. That is it. That's the magic it was my favorite thing to ever do.
Oh, I love that you have a connection to it. I opened for, what is it, Justin Willman or whatever. He has a Netflix show now.
Okay.
He was more on the comedy side of things and kind of used. I like his stuff. Apparently, in the magician world, he gets no respect. Nobody likes him. But, I mean, it's because he's successful or whatever.
Yeah,
probably.
Right. That's why.
But Bjorn, you're a young aspiring
Oh my God,
magician.
I wanted to be a magician.
Let's
when
talk
I grew
about
up.
that.
Let's talk about that. I would always play Seal, "Kiss from a Rose,"
Good.
from the Batman Forever soundtrack, because I
Just
went
from Seal's career, you know.
I
Name
didn't
another
have the
Seal
actual
song right now.
I didn't have the actual Seal album. I just had that soundtrack, and I had gone to see a magician, and he used a lot of Seal in his his magic. So I was like, this is what the professionals do. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
And I would put on magic shows for my parents, who they were probably terrible, but there's they're rolling stuff around upstairs in it.
I shouldn't have acknowledged that with my eyes.
It's all right. But yeah, I would put on magic shows, and my sister would be my assistant, my lovely assistant in all of them.
Great.
And I don't know when my wanting, but it was probably middle school where I was
You lost interest?
I lost interest at some point in becoming a magician.
I mean, they're an interesting group of people. Like, as someone who tours to festivals everywhere and performs a lot, I meet a lot of magicians.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is secretly why I love the, like, is that magic? just because my favorite thing
so much
is just to make people's blood boil, you know, just to be like, just do the stupidest possible thing.
Yeah.
And then, like, I mean, I get it. And I remember my magician mate being like, how do I get most of my tricks? I buy them, you know, and I don't want this to be a magician bashing thing.
It's just a different culture.
It's a legit thing that people do, and I agree. But they're just so open with being able to copy each other's stuff. Do whatever.
Totally.
They've all got the same thing. Like, if comedy was like that, I wonder what comedy would be like.
It would be like music. It'd be more like
It'd
music.
be so
right?
homogenized. And
So I wonder why that is not. I mean, it's great that it's not that.
Right. But like,
who
what
made
would it
these
be?
rules?
It's sort of like in the clothing industry. You can patent a design, you can patent a logo or like a specific print, but you can't patent like a lot of clothes. Like,
right.
You can patent shoes and things to an extent, but the cool thing about that is then you have a lot more innovation happening all the time, because people are copying and improving on each thing, because you can make the pattern that it's based on can be patented, but the end garment can't be patented.
Right. So it's an ideas thing, I guess.
Yeah.
So weird. Like it seems like it's completely allowed in every other industry, you know.
Right.
Like I love the Nathan For You.
Yeah.
Where he does dumb Starbucks.
Yeah.
Do you know this
I
thing?
do.
Where
I do.
Parody law, you can parody anything.
And so he did dumb Starbucks.
Right.
I am so uncomfortable watching that show, but it is absolutely brilliant.
It's pretty wonderful. Like, and his new show is the same. Like
I haven't watched it, but
if you're uncomfortable with that,
I won't.
Don't.
Yeah.
Like, it's really rough.
It's
horrible.
My favorite Nathan For You, and then we should probably, is the one where he helps a struggling liquor store owner.
Yeah.
And he has the guy put up a sign that they'll sell booze to minors. So kids come in.
Do you not know this?
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
So these kids come in and they're like, really? And then they let them buy them, but then they give them basically a note, a thing that they can come get it when they turn 21.
Turn 21.
Oh my God, it's like a
so
layaway
fucked.
program.
Yeah, exactly. So he gets to keep the money, but they can't take the alcohol.
Yeah. But they get to take a photo of them with the booze so they can still be cool to their friends. It's so fucked. I love that show so much.
So good. But we should definitely watch that show.
He also does the frozen yogurt where they're like, you need radical new flavors, so they create a poo flavored yogurt. It's so stupid.
I think I would enjoy this.
Yeah,
very much.
you gotta do that.
Yeah.
We're watching that tonight.
It's
for sure.
very, very good.
It's brilliant, and someone who like me is into like it's a parody of business, but it's accurate. It's like real stuff that they really like. Business consulting does, but like he kind of takes it to the extreme.
Like cigarette brands in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Like, let's add a cool cheat into this.
Yeah, it's really like we shouldn't do this, but it's like there's one where he's working for a pet store. So he goes to a pet cemetery and he has a pet fly and it dies. So instead, he makes a giant tombstone in the pet cemetery that is like, here lies Eddie the fly. It wouldn't have been available without the support of this pet store because people whose pets have died want a new pet.
Yeah, like
it's fucked up.
Like it's fucked up, but so funny.
Okay, I love fucked up shit. I'm
It's
totally
very,
watching this.
very good.
It's a great show.
This.
Yeah.
So you brought some Chelsea boots for us to talk about today?
I did not. Is this the thing?
I mean,
These
yeah.
Chelsea
Or
boots?
you had a story about boots.
Well, no. Do you show things visually?
Yeah, we do. We usually talk about them.
Okay. Well, I had two stories to bring to you.
I love it.
The first one is the way 10 years ago, the way I started touring was that I lived in a beautiful apartment in Melbourne, which was just for artists only. And we like got cheap rent, and it was like this weird place. And I was touring a lot, and quite often I would sublet my room, and I would put all my stuff in the stairwell, which was where we would keep our stuff. And then during a tour, I had just carry-on luggage, and I had these beautiful boots that got recognized by everyone. Like, even when I was doing shows, like, it made me a very cool person.
Okay.
And they were Jon Fluevog boots.
Oh, I know that.
Fluevog is here. There's a Fluevog here.
There's a one in Seattle too.
Yep.
They're really cool boots.
He's a Canadian designer.
Okay.
And I just went in last week, and for ages they were not making these boots anymore. And the boots sort of look like they're made out of wood. Like hardwood, like light.
I think I know which ones you're
They're
talking about.
beautiful
Can you pull them up for us?
boots. They're worth like $600. Yeah, put them on the thing if you can. And so my girlfriend, who was a set and costume designer, got me these boots.
Oh, wow.
And when I started touring, I was just like, I'm just going to wear these forever. So I wore them on all of my shows. They were like, it made me seem like a much cooler person than what I was. So I'm touring. I'm in Perth in Western Australia. My housemates write to me and they say, we're cleaning out the stairwell. Is there anything you don't want us to throw out?
Yeah.
And I said, don't throw out my stuff.
Yeah.
My stuff.
Yeah.
And don't throw out like my grandpa's golf clubs, this sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then after touring, I came back and I went down to the stairwell and everything was gone.
No.
My Fluevog boots.
Oh,
boots,
no.
These $500 pair of boots that were just so beautiful. And they were like, they didn't deliberately do it. Like, obviously
Right.
not. But like fitted suits, ski gear.
Mm-hmm.
When I worked it out, it was probably about $8,000 worth of stuff.
No.
Oh boy.
And that employed someone to clear it out for them.
Yeah.
And it was all of my stuff was in these like the blue, red, and white bag type thing. So it makes sense. I don't, as you can tell, I'm still going through this in my brain. I don't understand why they would have done this. They would
Right.
have done it deliberately. It doesn't make sense. But they threw out all of my stuff.
Oh, no.
So then I went to the secondhand store, this massive one where they had taken the stuff.
Yeah.
And I said to the woman there, I was like, if anything, you should know them because of these beautiful boots that I had. They were such nice boots. And that's how you would know what my stuff was.
Yeah.
And she just looked at me and went, you've got Buckley's and none, mate. and then let me go out into the like sea of trash and like recycled clothes and all of this sort of thing. And I was like, how am I ever gonna find anything? So somewhere in Melbourne, Australia, someone found a beautiful pair of Fluevog boots.
Yeah.
And that's what my thinking is. And like, as well as a fitted suit, you know, all of this $8,000 worth of stuff. So I go back to my housemates and I'm like, well, I'm moving out. There's no reason for me to be here anymore. And that started my touring. So that started my like 10 years of not having a home.
Yeah.
Because I had nothing anymore. Like it was like a fire had burnt down everything.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, what am I going to do? I might as well just keep on traveling and touring and doing shows and let's see how long I can sustain this.
Yeah.
So it's sustained for 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But before I left, I was packing up like just my bed and my cupboard and I was selling them like on Marketplace or whatever. And I lifted up my bed.
No.
Bloody Fluevogs were under there, just crushed down and everything. And I was like, oh my God. And my housemates had said, like, these are such beautiful boots. We will give you money to get more.
Yeah.
But they're no one makes them. Like, they weren't being made anymore. So at least, like, we'll give you like $700 or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then I found them and they were like, oh, well, we don't have to pay you back. I was like, what about the rest of the stuff? What about the stuff that you've just given away? Why would you only respond to the
other
$700
or $7,000 worth
right?
of stuff?
Why are you only this? And so then I decided to wear those boots until they fucking died.
Yeah.
So I wore them through to the ground. I got them resold a bunch of times.
Nice.
And then it was in Vegas. It was a one-night stay over in Vegas that I put my foot entirely through them. So it was like a flapping tongue type thing. And I had worn them for probably like 4 years straight.
Oh, wow.
With no other boots, no other shoes, just... Like I had run around, I'd played softball in my fucking Fluevog boots.
That's amazing.
And that was that story.
Oh, I love that so much.
So that was a real turning point in your
life.
Like
so that changed my entire life. If they had not thrown away all my stuff, then I probably would have stayed in Melbourne and continued my sort of safe life. And I would have just stayed there. But instead I was like, well, I'm already getting all these shows everywhere. Mm-hmm. I don't think I'm going to be here for very long. So that started this sort of nomadic mindset.
Yeah. I love hearing, I've been trying to figure out how to like boil it down into a question, like a solid question that isn't ripping somebody else off. But basically, like there's been so many instances in my personal life where it's like something that I didn't want to happen happened. And it set me in a whole new direction that I never would have. I don't know if I would have gone that direction. I don't know if you've seen that movie, Everything All at Once.
Yeah, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
All at Once, where there are those, and they really visit that concept of like, oh, if you did this or if you chose this way, or you know,
the
alternate
sliding
universe.
Doors style. That's my era. Sliding doors.
I don't know that one.
You don't know Sliding Doors?
What is that?
Gwyneth
Paltrow. Yeah. It's like
great.
Whether you got the train or you didn't get the train.
Oh, okay.
It's a lesser of Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is, there's sausage fingers.
Right.
Sort of
there's
thing.
sausage fingers in a world where they're all rocks. Which, but even just, I don't know. I'm obsessed with that movie. We're obsessed with that movie. I really liked that movie because it really is. There's so many times in your life where weird things that happen, you know, and they really set you. They can just like be this like point where you like, and so that's really beautiful. And I really appreciate you sharing that. That's
I
really
feel
cool.
like I've always been someone who goes along with that. I don't know what the word is for that, where it's like, this is where it's been sent, so this is where you're going.
Yeah.
But that is the moment. And to be honest, I was really mad.
Yeah. No, it's
I
not
was really
fun.
upset.
It's never fun.
That
it's
they'd
never like,
given away
oh, this
all
is
my
going to be
stuff.
great. Though I
did set in motion what is now here, you know?
And then now you're in a weird basement with wallpaper.
I mean, and now I live with it. It's crazy. Like, now I live in Portland, and I never would have expected this from myself.
Right?
Like,
so close to Wales, an hour away from Wales.
Right?
Yeah.
I can get that little ferry over to... Well, I can't right now because I'm not allowed to leave the fucking country. But,
well, you could
American
go up to Seattle and take the ferries across, like...
I can't. No. I actually can't.
You can't?
Not yet. I still got to wait a couple more months thanks to the immigration system here. But I was just saying, like, across the Orcas Islands, just like... We go around on the islands. I mean, that would be really cool. I mean, orcas are pretty awesome as well. Like, they're crazy. They're kind of scary.
They're mean. Aren't they mean as fuck?
They're not mean.
They're like the Boston Terriers of the ocean.
They're just hungry.
I'm directing a show right now, which is a guy who is doing the Underwater Jungle Book. So this is what I've become now. Like, I'm directing a bunch of sort of storytelling shows, and he calls them sea wolves, which they are.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But orcas, I remember being around Vancouver Island there, and there's a little island full of seals. And I was like, why don't they just come in here and have like a feast?
Yeah.
And this is where I was like wanting to run these tours. And this woman was like, well, they don't do that because they know this is their food source. So they let the seals live on this island and like flourish and give birth and be families and everything. Mm-hmm. But as soon as they venture out to a certain zone, that's when they get fucked up.
Wow.
So these orcas know that the seals live there, and they let them live there. And they're like, you're cool there. You come out here, you're our lunch. That's our food. Because they don't want the orcas to they don't want to run out of food.
Makes sense. Sustainable eating.
Right? Isn't that crazy? To me, that's
actually
crazy.
Very progressive.
Farm to table.
Really intelligent farm to table. You know, locally sourced seals.
They are Portland approved. Yes.
That's how smart orcas are. They do not want anything flown in.
No.
You could fly in, you could drop a seal off of a plane into their area, and they'd be like, nah, we'll wait for one to come out.
This is definitely an import. I'm not fucking with that.
They don't want international foods. They don't want
international foods.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's a little too spicy.
It's probably got
for
MSG in it, you know?
Yeah.
God forbid cumin or something, you know?
Yeah. We want organic seals. That's what they want. Yep.
Oh my God.
That's so
organic. Oh, that's so fun. So we can either have you do the other story that you brought.
Oh, yes.
Or, so we always ask the guests. I mean, you already answered the question basically about the story of those. So we always ask the guests about the sneaker or the shoe that they bring or the boot. I'm becoming a boot guy. He had me borrow some boots and I wore them, and then I kept wearing boots that whole week. And I might be a boot guy as well.
I don't think you are.
You don't think I am? I'm not a boot guy? Not in this sweats.
No, I like you. This is going to change your whole thing. No, you need to stick with these, I think. Okay. I really appreciate sneaker people. Like, I understand the thing. And I kind of want to be one. I grew up in the 80s.
Oh, cool.
I was the first kid in my school to have Jordans.
Nice. Okay.
Because I bought them my fucking self.
Yeah. Okay, what Jordans were they?
They were the kids.
Okay.
I want to say 5s, maybe. Okay. They were yellow and black. They what do you got on now?
I have 4s on right now.
So I think they were maybe 2 up from that.
Okay. So it probably there could be the 6, maybe?
Yeah, if you look at them, but they were kids versions. But also, this was also when I was hitting adulthood.
Was it this silhouette?
Nah. My mate had them, and we would switch.
Try the 6.
We would swap shoes at school.
Was it this one? The silhouette?
No, they didn't have the finger holes, so maybe they were the next ones up.
The 7.
That's them.
Okay,
That's
the 7s. These ones
there,
here.
The gray and black.
Oh, very cool.
Nice. Yeah. They were the ones I had. And when I bought them, Well, I had to buy them myself. I ran around my house jumping and touching things.
like dunking. But you had your hand down your pants, right?
Yeah, constantly down my pants. So I couldn't really.
Well, you could rebuy those now on eBay for $4.99 if you are so inclined.
There's the yellow ones.
$4.99. I was wow, that's cheap. No, $4.99.99.
$400.
Yeah. But we would in my school we would switch. So because I had these, someone would switch shoes for me for these. And we would change around because shoes were so important to us.
Yeah. You gotta
it was a
switch
cool
them around.
thing to do.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah.
So, but we always, you did already kind of answer the question. We always ask the guests whether their shoe or their sneaker or their boot is going to be a pavement princess, or are you going to blow the back out on them?
Oh no, I blow the back out.
So you're a blow the back
now.
out every time. So that's our blow the back out music. Here's our sticker. You get to have.
Blow the back out. Yep, that's what I do. I'll wear the shit out of them. Because I don't see, because of that reason.
Yeah.
I'm like, wear everything while you've got it.
Right.
I don't have any golden boy t-shirt or jeans or anything.
Yeah.
I wear everything all the time.
That's awesome. I mean,
took me a long time to do that though.
These are my blow the back out sneakerhead sneakers. I've worn them a lot.
Right.
And what's interesting about these ones is when I got them, it was after we had started the podcast. I wanted a Jordan 4, and I literally bought these because they were the cheapest Jordan 4s I could find.
Really?
They were I think I got them for $150 or something like that. They retail at $200. And then I don't know if you want to pull them up right now what they're going for, but for a while these were going for $1,000, and I was like, oh whoops!
I can't get my head around this stuff.
The resell on the Jordan 4, the FIBA.
Do you know what the worst thing is that we used to pop. We used to pop.
So
they've
gone down in price a little bit, but at one point they were going for a lot of money.
Yeah, $300.
I mean, even I did not pay that for these. I got them for $100.
I mean, they're cool ones. I would like these.
And I just got them because they were cheap. I liked the silhouette, and I was I wanted to get something I wasn't afraid to wear, because if it was too expensive, I'd be I'd hesitate on wearing them.
I get that.
And I just started wearing them all the time, and then all of a sudden, one day, I think it was on the podcast, we looked it up, and we're whoa, they're going for $1,000.
Are they $1,000 now?
No, that's what they're going for, $250. The economy has taken a bit of a shift, and people are not buying as much in.
Barely noticed.
Yeah,
I barely noticed.
I mean, but this is the sacrilegious thing that you would be interested in when we would wear Nike Airs as kids.
Yeah,
especially in Australia, which was a bit hard to get. Our thing was popping the air because we didn't believe that the air would be in there.
Yeah,
and so
you would pop the air unit.
Yeah, even my the ones that I had, which didn't have the window.
Yeah.
You got to got the window.
Yeah, you got to have the
window.
window.
That the air is in there. What the fuck, man? Why? You got to know that there's air in there.
I could get into the designer if you wanted.
We would cut them out. We'd pull the air out.
Oh, you pull the goo out.
Adidas Torsions. Do you remember Torsions?
No.
They were a tennis shoe.
Oh, yes,
which had the thing in the middle. We just dissected
pull it out
shoes because we're how is it possible that there's an air pocket in this shoe? This makes no sense. And so we'd pop it. I popped mine.
Yeah.
All the airs got popped.
And you continued wearing them without air.
Did you notice a difference?
No, of course not.
It's all marketing.
I mean,
it's all marketing.
When I first put them on, I did jump slightly higher.
Yeah.
I feel. I was running around doing the Jordan jumps and touching the tops of doorways and things. Yeah.
I love that.
We were obsessed with shoes for this sort of small little point in our lives.
I mean, shoes were a big deal when I was younger. Yeah. I got real into them because of skateboarding. That was my real entry point into it, because you'd wear through a pair every week if you skated a lot.
Right.
And so you started to care about what it was and paid attention, and then that's where my obsession sort of came from.
Yeah, I feel as a little kid, I was made I was made to work very young.
Okay.
So I worked on our pig farm.
All right.
My dad would pay me like $30 a month, whatever.
Wow.
But I managed to get it to save money so that when shoes came in and shoes were a thing, like Michael Jordan became this, was this thing, I could afford these shoes. So I had Jordans, even though my other brothers had terrible, shitty shoes that mum and dad had to buy them. Because this was the point in our lives in my life, where shoes were the identifier for you.
That's who you hung out with.
Right?
There was a cool shoe gang in every school.
Yep. So I was the second kid in my school to have Jordans.
Oh, wow.
Right? In Australia as well, which like all the other kids had different shoes, but Jordans were the thing. And then, and we would switch. So we'd swap. We could only swap shoes with other Jordans.
Okay, yeah, clearly.
And even though I'm a small person, they were obviously much bigger than what I would wear. So it was like some big guy squeezing into my tiny little Jordans while I wear these flippers
it's huge
around school. But that's what we did.
Oh, that's so cool. Do you remember when you were younger too, buying shoes like too big because you're gonna grow into them?
I don't think I ever.
My mom would always
this.
make me. I do remember a moment where like I was like wearing 11s for like a few years, and then I was like, I think I'm done growing.
I am doing this now.
I'm like slipping around, and I'm like, I might actually be a 10, and I don't know if it's getting any bigger.
Yep. Nope. Today I bought insoles for my shoes because I found some really cool sneakers at the Buffalo
Exchange.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
And they were size 9.5s, and I think I'm, let's be honest, 8-ish.
Okay.
And so but I'm wearing size 9 football boots because there's a football team here that I've been playing for.
Okay.
And I just wear thick socks. So I've been wearing thick socks while wearing these very white Adidas shoes.
I love it.
Now, when you say football, do you mean football or American football?
Australian football. There's an Australian football team here in Portland. No,
kidding.
It's not that.
Soccer.
So I know.
We're going to get at least 5 more listeners from me mentioning Australian football here in Portland.
Noting that right now.
Yep. They're called the Steelheads.
Okay.
And then there's a women's team. Fuck, I've forgotten.
I love football. I played for my entire 12 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Soccer, we're talking.
Soccer,
Yeah.
Have you gone to a game here? See the Timbers?
The Timbers. No, I have seen them. My friend owns an apartment above the stadium, so we've watched from there.
Oh, okay.
They've got that cheeky little.
Yeah. No, I know the apartment. I've been to games and stuff, and I'm always like, I wonder. Be kind of cool. Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
All right. I want to hear. So we're not gonna do the segment.
That's fine.
But I definitely want to hear.
You want to hear the story?
The thong
let's
story.
do it.
I really want to hear the thong.
Are
story.
we able to edit this?
We can remove whatever you want to.
Anything. If there's anything you want.
Can
me
I
to
go
take
to
out?
the loo?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Oh, 100%.
We'll take a quick pause and we'll be right back.
To the loo
All right, and we're back. Very excited. We got one more story, and then before we get out of here, but
yeah. All right.
You've been a delight so far.
Thanks, Bjorn.
I really enjoy this.
Thanks for having me. So this is the story that ends the Pretending Things Are a Cock show.
Okay.
So the footwear that I wanted to actually bring in was a pair of brown Havaiana thongs, flip-flops,
right.
which you guys call them. So the reason for this is because, as we've talked about, there was a point in my life where I decided to travel for a year and a half. Just traveled around the world. Had a well-paid government job. Saved up a lot of money. This is probably 10 years ago, before Pretending Things Were a Cock started becoming a thing. And I was in South Africa, and my girlfriend and I were volunteering in this tiny little village in South Africa. We were helping out at a school there. There's no cars. There's no really running water. It's proper village life. And at that time, when I was traveling, I just wore thongs everywhere, flip-flops everywhere. And Havaianas are like the Nike Air of thongs, I would say, right? Everyone knows what Havaianas are?
Oh, yeah.
I don't. What are they?
Havaianas are like a Brazilian thong company.
I love Brazilian thong. I don't. My brain
right?
does not go to footwear.
Yeah. I mean, you're right to think that. You're incredibly right. But so, yeah, if we look them up, they're the most popular flip-flops there are in the world.
They
have Havaianas on the. They say Havaiana.
You can pick them up just about every retailer. They're very
yeah,
like the plastic. Okay. Yeah.
But they're very comfortable. Also, they're a bit more expensive. They're the Jordans of thongs, I would say.
Okay.
So I would wear these everywhere, especially while traveling in hot climates. You know, whatever. People wear hiking boots. I'll wear Havaianas.
Oh
everywhere.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're in this little village in South Africa, and me and my girlfriend are packing up a tent, and I can't find my Havaianas anywhere. And these are the thongs that I wear everywhere.
What color were they?
They were brown.
Okay,
just brown, like the most innocuous, just brown Havaianas.
Okay.
And so I can find the left one, but I can't find the right one. And I lose my mind. And I'm like, I turn to my girlfriend and I'm like, do you know where my right Havaiana is? I can't find it. You know, it's my thing. My thing is that I wear these thongs everywhere. Like, people are like, you wearing thongs at a nightclub? And I'm like, yep, that's me. I'm the thong guy. And I can't find my right brown size 39 Havaiana thong anywhere. And so we tear apart our tent. We tear apart everything. We can't find it anywhere. And I'm like, I have to wear thongs. Like, there's no way I'm wearing shoes. This is like summer in South Africa.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do this. So I'm like, I'm going to go see if I can find if I can buy a pair.
Yeah.
And this is a tiny little South African village. There's no shops. There's no stores. Like, you get driven in, you get driven out. There's no roads. There's no running water. There's no nothing. This is a tiny little village where they only speak Xhosa.
Okay.
That's the only word I know how to say in Xhosa, and I'm not doing it right. They speak with a lot of clicks.
Yeah.
So I can't speak Xhosa, and all I do is I just walk into people's houses. I hold up my left thong, my left brown Havaiana, look down at my bare feet, and look sad.
Okay.
and everyone is like, nah, we don't have any. And then this man, he points to this bigger rondevel, which is like a South African hut, a Xhosa hut. And so I run up to this hut, and there's a big African lady sitting behind this desk, and there's all like stuff. So it's the local shop. Mm-hmm. And so I hold up my left brown Havaiana, and I look sad. And she kind of is like, nah. And I like look around, and then I go to leave. But as I go to leave, she sort of yells out for me to stop. And I turn around, and she starts yelling into this back room. And then this little girl comes out, who I assume is this woman's like granddaughter or daughter. And they start having this argument in Xhosa, and I don't know what's going on. And then finally, like, the little girl kicks her feet. And the woman bends down and holds up this pair of thongs because she knows that's what I'm looking for, right? And she goes to give them to me. And we've been there for about a week and everything, so we know these people. And I'm kind of like, oh no, I'm not gonna buy your daughter's thongs. Like, I'm not gonna buy your daughter's footwear.
Right.
This is a place where people don't even wear shoes, you know, whatever. And then they sort of start laughing and making fun of me. And I think they're making fun of me because, like, obviously these are little, like, 7-year-old girls' thongs. They're like bright fluorescent pink. They got little flowers on the bottom, and they say something like "Hey baby" on the bottom, and all this sort of thing. And juicy. And I'm laughing, and I'm like, I'm going along, but then I realize the real reason they're laughing is because they're about 5 sizes too big for me.
Okay.
And this is like her daughter's thongs, this little 8-year-old girl's thongs, and they're like, oh, look at the small Australian guy, whatever. And then I'm like, all right, well, fuck it. Okay, I'll buy your daughter's thongs, right? And so I pay like tons of money, like whatever.
Way too much.
So much money. And I put these like big, long thongs on, these flip-flops on, and I walk out of this place, and then I walk back to my girlfriend. And she's like, what's going on? And I was like, I told her the whole story.
Yeah.
And she's like, you're not going to wear them, are you? And I was like, well, I have to now. I have to.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, that's stupid. That's so stupid. They're obviously way too big for you. They're obviously fluorescent pink and all this sort of thing. So I've still got my left brown Havaiana. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to wear that on my left foot and the little girl's thong on my right foot. And I'm like, just until we get somewhere, I'll just buy a new pair. And then as we leave this little village, everywhere we go, I start getting attention. And they're like, oh, look at this weirdo with like fluorescent right thong, brown right thong. One's big, one's little, all this sort of stuff, right? And so I don't buy a new pair of thongs. I just wear these.
Right.
These are my new thongs, and I've worn them in.
It's your new identity.
Yeah, right? I
Own
associate
it.
this with my identity. And so we travel through the rest of South Africa and a bit of Northern Africa and all this sort of stuff. And I don't buy a new pair of thongs, but I still continue to wear thongs everywhere. So now people people talk to me. They're like, oh, what's going on? And, they chat to me and stuff, and it becomes my identity, right? And my girlfriend hates this because she's like, this is so stupid. Like, you're just using this footwear to, whatever.
Yeah.
And so then we leave South Africa and we go to South America. And we travel all around South America. And during this time, I refuse to buy. I'm like, nope, these are my identity. I don't need this. But they're from Brazil, right? So they're like $1. You can get a new pair for $1. And my girlfriend is like, buy a new pair. And I'm like, no, these have the story.
Yeah, they're a conversation piece, babe.
I'm sticking with these. So she ends up going back to Australia and leaves me to travel around the rest of South America. I meet up with Alex, the photographer, who now pretending things are a cock has taken off and it's become this thing.
Yeah.
And we start traveling around the rest of South America with each other, with me wearing this girl's thong and the brown thong. And then during this time, we go to Bolivia. We travel all around, and I meet this guy, Tobias, who is a Swedish guy. And we're in Peru, where you do the Inca Trail, and you go to, the Inca Trail, you do the ancient Inca Trail. And by this time, it's been like 5 months. I've been wearing these mismatched thongs. And the first thing Tobias says to me as I walk into this hostel, before I even know who he is, he's just sitting on the bed in the hostel, and he just looks at my feet and is like, maybe your feet are bisexual. I mean, it's such a dumb thing to say, right? What a fucking idiot. But he's traveling by himself, and so am I. Like, Alex has left me at this stage, and so it's just me and him, and we start chatting. And Tobias is like, just this Swedish guy, this lovely little guy, and we just make friends. And we decide we're going to do the Inca Trail together. And have you ever done the Inca Trail?
I have not, no, but I'm familiar with it.
Well, I've decided, like, I've done everything in my thongs. Like, I don't wear, everyone is in hiking boots. I'm like, nah, fuck it. I'm an Aussie. I'm wearing thongs.
I love it.
Which is such a dumb thing to do. I get the biggest blisters in between my toes, and I'm like, nah. My girlfriend has left me. I'm doing it. I'm fucking doing it. And Tobias finds this really funny. And then I am going to cut it a bit short, but like we do all this stuff together. He becomes my like best friend. And during this trip, we don't do the Inca Trail because we can't afford it.
Okay.
And it's already well booked out. We don't know what we're doing. We're just two like absent-minded travelers. And so then this guy is just like, do you want to do the Inca Trail? I'll just drive you to Machu Picchu. And so we're like, all right. So it's just the two of us and these bunch of old men just driving in this van towards Machu Picchu, like from like 3 a.m. in the morning to 8 a.m. at night. Like it's a 7-hour drive. And they start like giving us cocoa leaves.
Oh.
Now, have you had cocoa leaves?
No,
I know what they do.
Yeah, it's like low grade cocaine. Yeah. And meanwhile, like, let's be honest, we've also, they're also giving us real cocaine. But we're just with these old men just chewing on stuff. And it's a 7-hour drive in this van in the middle of nowhere. And so by the time we get to this little town just before Machu Picchu, they drop us off, and Tobias and I are peeking off our fucking brains.
Yeah.
And we're just like, we're not going to bed. We're not going to bed. There's no point. And we just talk to this person. We're like, what should we do in this little town? And they're like, there's the hot springs. They're lit up at night. You can go at any time. That's what you do in this little town. And so we've got a torch, a light. And then Tobias and I they tell us where we're going. We just follow this little track in the darkness, and we just keep walking. This goes for like 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
And we're just walking in the darkness. And Tobias and I, we don't really know each other. And we just sort of, he said, my feet up by saying, whatever. And we're coked off our brains. So we're bonding like no one ever should. Yeah. We're talking about our upbringings and all this sort of stuff. And I'm talking about my like troubled childhood with my dad's very religious, my brother's an addict, all this sort of stuff. And Tobias talks to me about growing up knowing he's a homosexual man. And I'm like, okay, that's, cool, all this sort of stuff. And I'm like, my dad won't let me do knock-knock jokes because they're offensive to homeless people. Like, there's these sort of crazy things. And then as we're having this real heart-to-heart, my stomach drops. And I just feel like my bum just become enveloped in warmth. And I just feel my undies, like my underwear, just sort of stretch.
Oh, no.
Backwards. And Tobias is telling me all this stuff about like coming out and, never being able to come out to his dad. And there's like really like heartfelt stuff. And I'm like, I have to shit. And he looks at me and his little Swedish face is just like, you just shit yourself. And I'm like, nah, I didn't shit myself. I didn't. I just need to shit right now. And I just run away. I run away into the darkness. And I turn right down towards this river that we've been with. There's a riverbank. Like I just run down towards the river. As I'm running, I trip over the little girl's big thong because you quite often step on the back of it, and then I fall. I tumble down this thing with just shit in my too much shit, just like this avalanche of like spraying shit everywhere. And I just end up like laying on the side of this river with Tobias up on this like riverbank track. And I just immediately start like full on crying. Like just really like, who the fuck are you? Yeah. This is the worst. I'm coming down off the coke. Yeah. I'm like, oh, what am I doing? And then I'm like, oh, I don't know what to do. And then I try and clean myself up, but it's darkness.
Yeah.
So I just start wiping myself with my hands and dirt, and I'm just sort of like trying to do whatever. I take my shorts off and I just throw them away.
Yep.
I've tripped over the thongs, so they're just like randomly in places, and then I'm just like, the most shameful look, which is just like T-shirt, no pants, just squatting in the darkness.
The ultimate walk of shame.
Yeah. And then I don't know what to do, right? I don't know what to do. So I just have to be like, Tobias, can you come and shine the light for me? I've had an accident. Because he's heard all this like tumbling down, and he's got the torch, he's got the light. And he just walks down the riverbank, and I don't even know. He just must have seen like shirt cocking, like shirt, no pants, just shit everywhere. And he just shines a light on me, just crying, going like, "Please help me, help me!" I don't know what's happening. Just shit, all up my arm, everywhere.
Oh no!
And he is just silent, and he's just like, "Yep." And like he just helps me find my shorts, and I put them on, and he helps. We take ages to find my thongs because we can't find them because I tripped over one up the top and one's down the bottom, and then of course like what people are thinking, like I should have just cleaned myself in the river. You know, I could have saved myself. But it was pitch black. I couldn't hear anything.
Right.
You know, if I jumped in this river and got washed away and drowned.
Right. Hindsight's 2020.
Right.
You have no idea.
Yeah. And the only thing that's left of me is some like little girl's pink flowery thong and some giant shit everywhere. And you know, the police are checking the crime scene and they're like, "What happened, Mrs. Bennett?" And they're like, oh yeah, it seems like he just fell down this he was just covered in shit, and he was wearing some little pink thong, and he was wandering the night with this Swedish homosexual man,
gay guy.
That's what we got. And I'm like, oh, I can't go out like that. And then so Tobias just silently helps me put all my stuff on, and he doesn't. We don't mention anything. Like he doesn't mention the shit.
Wow.
Doesn't mention anything. Like. There is a point where he's like, "Something smells," and that's all he says. Isn't that beautiful? Like he's just "Something smells."
And not to make it weird, but he is a gay man for sure.
Well, it's such a beautiful thing. He's so understanding.
You never speak of it. You're just like, no, it's fine.
Like I've got it dripping from my armpits. You know,
It's totally fine. Don't worry about
it smells a little bit bad.
Yeah.
But,
Everybody, that happens to everybody. It's fine.
Every gay man at some point.
And then finally we like get my stuff together, and he's like, "Shall we turn back?" And I'm like, "We've been walking for 2 fucking hours." I'm like, "Nah. We're going to make it to these hot springs. We're forced into this together. This is kismet. You were forced with me now. We're doing it." And then so we finally make it to these hot springs. And the first thing I do is I just jump in one of the little hot water pools and just wash myself off and like get cleaned up. And then Tobias and I go and jump in one of the bigger pools. And then we watch as this tour bus shows up and all these people just start jumping into the little pool. And I just wash myself off in, and we're like, no. But we didn't know. We couldn't be like, no, don't do that.
Too late. Maybe don't.
How do you explain? Nah, he shit himself on the way here and then cleaned himself up in this little pool. We couldn't work out any of this. And then we're just like, all right, I guess they're just bathing in my shit, I guess.
That's part of the hot springs experience.
Yeah, it's part of it. It's part of it.
They're like, they smell nice.
Yeah. But so the next day we're like we walk all the way back, and we bond some more, and he becomes a really great friend of mine. And then the next day we go to Machu Picchu, and we have this great time, and we take a lot of photos together, and he's just become this beautiful mate of mine.
Gosh,
and then we go back to Cusco in Peru where we started, and we're parting ways. Mm-hmm. And none of us has ever mentioned the shit. The fact that I shit myself. None of us have ever, there's nothing. And we just hug each other. And then beautiful Tobias is just like, where are you going now? Do you want us to keep traveling together? What do you want to do? And we do. We've made these friends, and we travel together for the next 6 weeks. And we go to Bolivia, and we're doing this trek through the Amazon jungle. Just the two of us and a guy with a machete. It's a beautiful thing. We during this time, I'm cutting out a lot of things. We do zip lining. Tobias has become my travel mate.
Yeah,
we do all this stuff together, and then but we're walking through the Amazon jungle with a guide, and up in the jungle, I see this thing, and when I reach it, I realize what it is. And that's when I kick off the little girl's pink, flowery, too big for me thong. And I slide my foot into a solitary, right-footed, size 39, Havaiana thong in the middle of the Amazon fucking jungle.
What?
And I keep walking. This is in a different
That's
country, in a
crazy.
different continent, 10 months after losing the first thong. I find it again, and then I've got 2 matching brown.
That's insane.
thongs
Oh
from
my
there.
gosh.
That's
Pretty
amazing.
crazy, right? It's pretty fucked up. And even after that, I will find Tobias just sitting on this, like, he'll just be looking down at the ground. I'll be like, "You were right." And he's like, "I can't believe that you found that thong. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my entire life." And I wore those thongs until they were dead.
Wow.
Like, it was pretty crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
The chances of that happening are just astronomical.
How amazing. I mean, it's not that amazing because it was in Brazil or it was in South America where Havaianas are made.
Right.
Yeah.
But the fact
But
that there was a
still.
solitary size 39 one is pretty crazy.
Wow. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's my miracle story about a shoe.
I love the closure of it. It's amazing.
Yeah. And I never saw Tobias again. I've never seen him again.
Really?
We parted ways.
And then you never.
Oh, we
tried to
chatted. We
reconnect?
chatted on
Oh,
things,
okay.
but like, yeah, never ever caught up again.
I mean, I do believe that people come in and out of our lives for
Yeah.
a reason, and that it's okay if they are not in it. That's my own belief. 'Cause
Yeah.
I have people that have come in and out of my life, and I'm at peace with that. You know, I'm okay with that. It doesn't, like, you don't have to hold on to that. I
Yeah.
mean, not here. I am like, don't hold on to it. No, that's what I mean.
No, I
like,
feel like
you know?
I wonder, like, this is the thing. I don't know if he knows I do this story about him.
Oh wow.
Like, that's where we're at. Like,
Yeah.
I started doing shows after that.
Okay.
So I don't know if he really, like, if they're all online. You can watch all this
Yeah.
stuff online. And I wonder if he's like, that's me. And I still wonder if he knew that I shit myself. He must have.
He
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 must
has
have.
to have known. Oh,
But we
I'm
never
sure.
mentioned it. We walked in silence in this, like, disgusting
Well,
silence.
we do have a huge audience in Sweden. So
yeah.
this
So
is-
maybe.
Well, let's see. Let's see. I
see.
just want him to contact me again. Let's see.
Oh man.
Oh, thank you
That's
so much for
amazing.
sharing that. That was amazing.
Yeah, that's what I thought was my great shoe story to
Oh,
tell you.
That's a fantastic shoe story.
Yeah, it's pretty
like
messed up.
No, it's amazing. That's perfect. Do you? We're gonna probably close out now. So, like, do you have anything you want to plug right now?
Are people here from? Do people
Portland.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we have about 100 followers. So.
All right, that's pretty good. I'm doing my storytelling workshops.
Okay.
Often at Curious Comedy. I've got one this weekend, and then I'm just doing stuff around the place. You know,
Okay.
Jon Bennett Comedy. John without
Okay.
an H,
All right.
pronounced faster than John.
All right. You want to take us out then?
Sure. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, all major platforms. And don't forget to support our sponsor, Brumby's Bakery, who is now our corporate sponsor. So make sure to follow them too as well. And
Get some stale focaccias.
have some. You can make some French toast with it tomorrow morning. So thanks again, and we'll see you next week.
All right. Bye.